The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And that feels weird to say after a while. After being absent for a little while.
It does, but it feels good, doesn't it?
Yes. It's only been a few weeks, but, 4 weeks?
No, at least because we've been here a month. And then we packed up there earlier because we ended up having to stay there.
That's true. Yeah.
So, I think it's been like 2 months since we've had a new episode. So
well, anyways, we're back.
We're back.
All right. Feels good.
It does.
In some strange kind of way.
No,
it's
it
really
does.
Cool.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah, I did too, actually.
Yeah.
But this is episode 226, and what are we going to talk about today?
This is called I Love You. And
I love you too.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you. We're going to be talking about saying that.
Yes. Those 3 simple words.
Exactly. Yep.
Cool. Well, before we do that, we don't really have anything to talk about from last week's episode because you've been sharing your radio
I have been,
episodes, which is cool. Thank you for donating those.
Yeah, new content for people that hadn't heard it. And, we don't want to keep you with nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So we all appreciate that it wasn't dead air.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll talk a little bit about what we've been up to over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Something like that.
Whatever
It feels
determine.
like it's been like 5 years. Oh my gosh. What a journey that was. Because when we left off, we really thought that a couple of weeks from that last episode, we would be here.
Yes.
And we expected probably, I would say, to start back up like a month ago. And at
least 2 weeks ago.
At least, right? It's been a while. This went way longer than we thought it was going to. But the journey was rough.
Yeah.
The journey was, it never is easy, right? But what's interesting is that I said to you, I'm like, I feel it. I feel this, even weeks before it started getting bumpy. It's not going to be an easy road. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we told our listeners how far into things we were, in the last episode. I don't remember.
I don't either, honestly.
I don't think we had even found a house at that point where we had first applied for one or anything like that.
Okay.
So I'll give a little bit of the backstory of what happened, why we got here so late, because we were expecting to be here September 15th, I think it was our original move date.
Yeah.
And we found this house. It was a 2-story house on an old golf course, and it had a casita, which is what we were looking for the studio.
Yeah.
It had a lot of things that we wanted. It was really, really nice house.
Yeah.
So we applied for it. It was a little bit out of the price range that we wanted to spend, but,
yes.
if you find a house you like, right? So we applied for it, and everything was going great. And then all of a sudden the woman said, because we're self-employed, it's a little bit difficult. She's like, well, that self-employment isn't going to be as much of a problem as your background, as your criminal history. Okay, but this is great, right? So I already had gotten the email showing that our background check came back clean, no criminal history, no bankruptcies, no anything like that. And I was like, wait, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, the owner of this house is a lawyer, and so he does a really deep dig on everybody, right? I was like, oh, this is lovely. Okay. Tells me that I was evicted in 2012. No, I lived in the same apartment from 2021 to 2020, 2014, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, and then I had garnishment of wages, right? Okay, no, I didn't, but whatever you want to say. But then she said, but that's not as bad as your husband's felonies. 2 felonies. I was like, wait, okay, what is happening? Like, I know that we all have a past, but I definitely can tell you my husband's never been to jail. No, he definitely doesn't have a felony.
Yeah.
So at that point, like, honestly, this really weird feeling came over me where it was like I felt like I was in a different, like it was like Twilight Zone, right? And I realized, but I didn't want to admit it, that this was happening for a reason.
Giant roadblock.
Yeah. The universe saying this is not your house.
No.
I called them on this and I said, I'd like to see proof of this. I want to see proof.
Yeah.
The reason that we believe that they did this is because we have 3 giant dogs and they didn't want the dogs.
And they can't legally deny you if your dogs are
they're
service dogs.
Yeah. So they couldn't. They just had to. But anyways, so that's what they were trying to do. And so when I called them on it, then we got an approval.
Yeah.
But the approval that they sent us was for double the deposit of which they had no grounds to stand on there. Like there was nothing that reason they should be doing that. So we both just felt like, no, this isn't our house.
And they didn't even address what they said.
No.
They just all of a sudden came back with you're approved.
Yeah.
How come it went from your husband, we're denying you because your husband's got 2 felonies, to welcome home?
Oh, they didn't deny. It wasn't a deny. It was that it might be a problem with the owner.
But they were, that's what they were pointing
it
towards.
Sounded like that's what they were going to do. And even our real estate agent asked them, can you deal with this? Can you tell us what it is that you're seeing? Because as the real estate agent, she needs to know that because she needs to know that for other people if there's an issue. So then we applied for one that we really didn't want, and we just applied to come here. And I said to them before, I said, if the dogs are going to be a problem, I don't even want to apply. And the lady said, well, apply, and if the dogs are a problem, we'll give you your application fees back. They denied us.
Which was very nice, actually. Thank you to those people.
The third one is my favorite. The third one, we really thought everything was going to be fine. It was 2 days before we were supposed to move here. It was already delayed once. This was going to be the second time. And we really thought we were going to get approved. And I'm in the grocery store, and Danny calls me, and he's like, did you see the email? Like, what email? We were denied. Okay, they said it was for income, but that made no sense at all.
It didn't, because we're paying like a third less.
Yeah, it made no sense. It made no sense. They didn't want the dogs. Okay, so we move in here, this house that we're in now. I don't know, maybe is there more of the story I should fill in here? You want to take over, or are we
No, you're doing good. Go ahead.
Okay. So we finally find a house. It's actually a house that I really liked. The first time that I saw it, it's very different than anything that you would see in Las Vegas, and it stuck out to me. Yeah. But our real estate agent kept putting off coming to see it, and then told us that there was already an application on it. So it was like, what's going on? Right. It just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Yeah. And finally, she came out, saw this house. We applied, and we were approved. Right. We have been in this house for a month, and it's a 2-story house. All the bedrooms are downstairs, thankfully, but the studio is upstairs. None of our dogs, 2 of the dogs will not come upstairs. No. So we realized that at least one of these houses, the universe said no to because it was a 2-story with all the bedrooms upstairs. That was the last one, the one I was most shocked that we got denied on. Yeah. The first one, I definitely think it was the price because the universe you might be a little bit pushing it there, and definitely would have been more, uncomfortable in that. Yeah. So the universe helped us. Yeah. But we were so frustrated. Yeah. This was the longest, most ridiculous thing.
I had several moments where I let this really get to me.
I think we both did.
I think and this is the part where, we get to share with you as listeners is like, we're human, man. Like we started to lose faith a little bit. What's going on? We were clearly told, this is where we need to go. And every avenue, I felt like we're getting shut down. Yeah. The interesting part is we did some things before we came here that we tried to manifest in what it was we wanted. Yes. In the house. Yeah. And I would say that the only 2 things that are missing in this house that we actually asked for was a pantry. Yeah. And it being 1 story.
Never going to get my pantry. Never. Like, why is it so hard?
A walk-in pantry.
Right. I want a walk-in pantry. It doesn't happen.
But everything else absolutely hit it on the head.
Yes.
One of the biggest ones, which wasn't, I wouldn't say at the top of the list, was I was a bit concerned about being a native of California and then coming here. I've been, here and visited many times, but several times. And spent a lot of times in the desert as a kid growing up with my family in Lake Havasu. So the desert wasn't unusual, but living in it was something I had never done, and I'm used to green and as much green as I can get.
And all the gambling and everything.
All this.
It's so different.
It was a big change, but I think I was more worried about what the scenery looked like.
Yeah.
And so this house is remarkable, this neighborhood. It's an older neighbor, not terribly old, like 2006 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So the foliage that's been planted, the trees and stuff in the neighborhood, has had time to grow. Mm-hmm. So when you're standing, even looking at our front yard, we have grass. The whole neighborhood, everybody has grass. It's not a large community, but it's gated, which I love that. It's private. Mm-hmm. And it's safe like that. But it has a little mini park. It looks like the back lot of Universal Studios, like Wisteria Lane, the little central park.
Totally.
With the white gazebo and grass, and everybody's got grass in their front yards. It's kind of older looking, either colonial style or craftsman style houses in the front look, with the porches, which we both loved.
Yeah.
That ours
always wanted it.
Most of them here have porches, these houses.
Yeah.
But it's the greenery that really threw me off. I was like, whoa, this does not feel like I'm in Vegas.
Yeah.
It will when I'm in about August. I don't care how much
June.
green.
Yeah.
Thank God, I'm going to be dying.
Yeah.
But, June.
Wishful thinking, August.
So... well, the thing is June, it's more like 90, 100.
Yeah, which really isn't that bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we got here and it was 90.
Yeah.
But it felt like 80.
Yeah.
It's when it's 120, not 20, 110, 115.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I don't care if it's a degree hotter or colder. It's just plain miserable.
Yeah, totally.
So anyways, my point is it just doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And that really helped me. I felt good about it.
Yes.
And I think our first day when one of the neighbors came and brought us like a
donuts
box of donuts, and that was really sweet of them.
Very sweet. Introduced
so they were welcoming.
Yeah.
They were really welcoming. So I love it. But
good.
the road was extremely bumpy. Got a little bit scary, even financially. We weren't really ready to commit to staying a few more months to where we were at.
Yeah,
if
not
that's
at
what
all.
was necessary. So we were actually to the point like, do we forget going to Las Vegas?
Yeah.
And stay here and move somewhere else cheaper?
Yeah.
There was a lot of what ifs.
Totally, because it really felt like the roadblocks were up. But I was like, no, I know. I've been hearing this for years. We just haven't found the right house yet. And this house does have pretty much everything that we asked for. A couple of things that we didn't get is quiet. We did not get quiet.
No.
We live 10 miles from the Air Force Base, which may seem like a distance, but it's not when they're letting those jets off.
Yeah.
Oh my.
The jets are pretty gnarly sometimes. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. It's crazy, but it's good. We're here. There's a lot of other things that happen between then and now, and several things that I actually believe the universe stopped us from coming sooner, because this house was available for 3 weeks before we got it.
Yes.
But one of the things that happened is my best friend had a stroke.
Yeah.
And that came out of absolutely nowhere. We were packing up, just had a few days left, and I texted her and asked her if she wanted my King's banner. And she messaged me back and she said, I would, but I'm in the hospital. I had a stroke. And I was like, wait, what? Because she's 45 years old.
Yeah.
And when you get a text like that and it's clear, and you're like, well, how bad is the stroke if what you're saying is clear? Well, I realized that that her parents were the ones that were communicating with me. And she was in the ICU. So I kind of felt like the universe wanted us to stay there for a little while so that I could see her. I made it a point that I needed to see her. I knew she wasn't ready for company yet because she had just been released from the hospital the day that or 2 days before I saw her.
Yeah.
But it was really, really important to me. So I did. I got to see her, and she's getting better. Things are getting better. So, but that was just another whack, a big one, really big.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just a lot that went on, but we're here.
Yeah.
And it's good.
It's funny. There was some things that we were, if we can rewind back to a little bit of the chaos that was happening before.
Yeah.
We came here, that we were having some doubt, some issues. So like anything, believe it or not, we get readings from other people.
Yeah.
Meaning other psychics, other mediums.
Yeah.
Just to make sure they're giving us something that's similar to what you're getting.
Yes.
And for the most part, they do.
Yes.
But there was one place that we went, and the lady was just throwing out some of the most bizarre things. You know, not bizarre, but just like things like, really? Okay.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah. I think, you know, well, she talked about a fire.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. She talked about me painting houses.
Yes.
And she talked about she saw me singing.
Yes. In
a band or in a studio, or I don't know.
She just said singing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Which is not unfathomable. Like, I'm not a lead singer. I don't lead sing in bands.
Right.
But I will sing like harmonies or backups, and I love to sing. Yeah. I do in the car all the time. It's like I can't help it.
Yeah, sure.
I used to at work all the time. Yeah. So, ironically, as we've been here now, however many weeks it's been, these things, for the most part, have happened.
Yes.
Which is strange.
It's very strange.
The fire was not our fire.
Yeah.
Samantha's sister had an accident. Somebody put a not completely dead ashtray into the trash can out on the balcony of their apartment. They've only been in for, 6 months?
Not even. They moved in August.
And the balcony caught fire.
Yeah. Bad.
The painting of the houses, her husband, we kind of assume that, you know.
Yeah.
Unless this woman was seeing me painting my work.
That's
in
what
this
I
house,
said. That's what I said.
Possible.
And she said, no, I see him painting houses for money. And I was like, no.
No. But the singing, you know, as I've been here now, I've gotten approached by some friends that I've known throughout the years to do some things. And one of the things this friend of mine, Brett, asked me to do was sing some harmonies on a song for him, which I just finished up. And it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, like we were kind of laughing at this woman when we came home.
Oh, yeah. No, I cried the whole way home, remember?
Yeah.
I did.
We were like, what is she talking about?
Because she made it sound so awful. But she's like...
It was kind of all over the place, too.
It was all over the place. And then, but she made it sound like, but once you're there, you know, things start to get better and it'll be fine and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but because the way that she made the fire sound was check your cars, check anything on the house that you move into. And so this house that we moved into, the ceiling fan in the studio, if we believed in possession, we might think it was possessed. It seems to be maybe better now. But I got a little bit nervous. Yeah. That, okay, they're talking about a fire.
Yeah, the fan would I'd have the fan on, but maybe not the light. And all of a sudden the light would kick on and it would stop and then turn the rotation.
Yeah.
The other way.
Like,
I was like, whoa.
My God.
What is going on?
And it was rough when we got here. This house was not move-in ready.
No, it wasn't.
There was so much wrong with this house. But I think we've got most of it under control at this point. But there was a lot that happened. It was a really wild journey for my sister and her family too. Yeah. It's been wild. So,
but it does feel like, you know, the dust is kind of settling now. Yeah. A lot of that dust was sort of left in California in the wake of all that chaos. Yes. Once we kind of knew where we were going here, I felt like I could really calm down. I couldn't.
Oh, yeah, you could not.
My anxiety was like I couldn't calm. I couldn't relax. It was scaring me kind of in a way.
I think you thought we weren't going to have a place to live, but our landlords in California were letting us stay there. It was the money was, you know, not because we were using the money that we, you know, for the actual move, the movers, because we had professional movers, which was another fun thing because the day they're getting ready to leave and collect the money, and he comes at us with, oh, this bill is almost $3,000 more than what I originally quoted you. Yeah. When I had told him we need to stay within this budget that you've given. And it was just one thing after the other after the other. So, but
I mean, I get it. We don't travel lightly. We have a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But we heard that a million times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You got a lot of stuff. Yeah, we know. Thanks for reminding us again. But it was tough.
We made it.
We did.
We're here. Yeah. It's good to be, you know, closer to your family and your sister and your brother. And
and your parents have already come to visit once.
Yeah, my parents came we saw them on Halloween.
Yeah.
And we are hosting Thanksgiving this year, so we'll have like 10 people, which is exciting. Marina gets to come home for college, and I'm for one, I'm just really excited to see her. I feel like it's been forever.
Yeah.
Even though we saw her in September, but
yeah, it's still
just feels like
over
forever.
2 months. Yeah,
and she has not seen this place yet.
No.
So been really trying to work hard to make it look nice and presentable, like, some comfy home. But she's seen pictures of it.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
she's seen it on
and
FaceTime.
I've done
yeah.
FaceTime walkthroughs with her, but to stand in it in person, she hasn't.
So our listeners have actually asked me quite a bit. I've gotten messages. How do you like it here? They want to know how you like it here.
Me, myself?
Yes.
So far, I like it. It doesn't. I think the scenery, the geography is probably more surprising to me than I thought it would be. And I'm only seeing like mountains and stuff in the distance, but I'm really grateful to be able to see those. Like that, I'm not sort of right in the middle of Vegas, like down by the strip.
Yeah, we're on the outskirts.
Everything's so far away you can't see it. We're on the very edge for the most part. So we're like right outside our backyard is a north-facing mountain range. It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
It's really beautiful.
Yep.
So, and we've done some other things. We went to some parks that have, have water and wildlife. We went to a little farm around here, right down the street from our house, that has animals and things like that.
Yep.
So, no, it's not as desolate as I thought. Now, come June, July, August, and September, I'm going to be saying I hate this place.
Probably.
But
I will too.
It gets pretty hot in California, especially where we were at, and significantly higher humidity, which makes it feel warmer. So like I said, again, we were here 90 degrees, and it felt like about 80.
Yeah.
So... And I've been here when it's 105
yes, you have.
or 110. So I know what to expect. I just know that I'm not looking forward to that. We have a pool. Thank you, universe.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So anytime that I'm griping about that, it's just hop in the water, cool off, and, take it from there.
Yeah.
But, so I do like it so far. There hasn't been much that we've done.
Yeah.
But we will, I'm sure, as far as going and doing shows or concerts or things like that. I think one of the first things I really want to do is go see Red Rock.
Yes,
and take some photographs up there because that's inspiring. As a photographer, I'd love to do that. But there's so much to see.
Yeah.
Plan on doing something as much as possible when we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I've lived here before. So for me, it's not a big difference. It's like I've come back. Again, right. California, back here. I'm happy to be back. It feels like home. So for me, it's different. It's like it's like home. Yeah. I've seen a few of my friends that I haven't seen in a very long time, which was really nice. And it's cool. It's like, it's very strange. The mind plays tricks on you because like I lived here for 15 years before and I can drive down a street that I've driven down a million times and I just don't remember it. Or I'm like, oh yeah, that's where this was. Or it starts to come back to you, but it's very, very strange.
I'm still kind of turned around a lot of the time, but I don't mind that. It's like I expected that to be the case. Living somewhere new, so
yeah.
But for the most part, there's not much you can argue with it. Tell you what, gas is a whole lot cheaper. Cost of living is a whole lot cheaper. Our rent's a whole lot cheaper.
Yes, it is.
So, and I'm excited. And we have this space, this wonderful house, and the studio, which kind of going back to where we came from. When we moved from Simi Valley, California to Thousand Oaks, California, I had a pretty larger studio in Simi, and then we kind of went from a small room down to a small room. And now in this house, we again have a larger room, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to have room to put the drums and the guitars and the piano and things, and so it's been a lot of work, but I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
To come up here and have that space to create, and my art is right on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
That I do that, so I'm really happy about that.
I am too. I know that this house has a lot of things that you really needed to be happy here. Really, like it wasn't as big of a deal for me because I've been here before, but for you, a
lot of small things too. Grass, which even in the backyard for the dogs. They're not used to going from grass to like, here's a bunch of rocks.
Yeah.
To the wall instead of a gate.
Yeah.
So no critters can be crawling through like holes in the gates or stuff like that. But there's a lot of stuff that they the universe provided for us that we really didn't have on the top of the priority list, or it was on the list, we just didn't know how to prioritize it.
Totally. Yeah.
So,
life is
but anyways,
weird. Yep.
That's been the journey so far.
Yep. And we will keep you updated. Yep.
Yeah. Well, shall we hop into it then?
Yeah, actually, real quick, there were a couple of other things I wanted to say, and we should give our info.
Yes.
But first, so everybody knows, my TV show will be starting January 8th.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
The holidays, we're going to let the holidays go first. The radio show is being turned into a TV show.
Yay.
So there will not be a radio show anymore. Doing 3 shows a week is just too much for me, too. This was a better way to go.
And now you get to see your face.
I'll get used to it, I suppose. The other thing is that I opened an Etsy store where you can have quick email readings, and they're relatively inexpensive. So if you'd like to see, you can go to Etsy. Beyond the Bridge 11 is my store name.
Very good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your other information really quick?
Yes, sure. You can find me at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. Everything you need is there.
All right.
And then you...
Yep, for my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And then for my photography, djones71 photography, or at djones71 photography for Instagram. That's it for me.
Very good.
All right, then. Episode 226, I Love You.
So where this topic came from is,
Yep.
One night I was just sitting there and I said to you, having a really weird situation right now, and it's making me think about how people say I love you.
Yeah.
There was a series of things that happened. I actually have a close family friend whose daughter passed away from brain cancer, and we knew that she was going to pass, and I got the message from her mom saying that she had passed, and in my response to her I said I love you.
Yeah.
And I got a thumbs up back. And I was a little bit taken back by that. And then the next day, another close family friend messaged me to find out if the person that I was, saying my condolences to on Facebook was, in fact, the person he thought it was. So we talked for a little while. I told him about the interaction with the other family friend. And, he told me don't take it personally. And at the end of the conversation, I said, I love you. And he sent a kissy face and, some other kind of emoji. I don't remember.
That's a little better, but yeah.
Yeah, much better than a thumbs up. I'm like, dude, I've known you since I was born, and you sent me a thumbs up. So I started thinking about this and about who do you say I love you to? Yeah. Who's it right to say I love you to? And I wrote a blog about it and everything, so you can find that on my page. But that's where this idea came from.
I think it's a wonderful topic. I think it's one of those words or phrases, 3-word phrases, that can either do one of two things. It seems like really overwhelm you, in a good way, or make you extremely uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's like love and death are the two things that are the biggest, I think, part of our experience here as we take on incarnation as in a life.
Yeah.
Yet they're the two things that are the hardest to talk about.
Yes.
And so we decided we want to talk about at least one of them.
Yeah.
Because we've already talked about the other one.
We talk about the other one a lot.
All the time. Yeah. So, and I also think for me, I grew up with I have baby boomer parents.
Yeah.
And especially the men, a lot of their fathers were either in war, and then themselves were in war. Mm-hmm. And when you enlist into a military branch to go to war, it changes you to a bit, to a degree, a lot, depending on what it is. But I think for men, it makes you tough and hard, and you don't show these kind of emotions. So I think I had to look for it or ask for it from my own dad. But he reciprocated finally, because I would hear stories where I could see him talk about his father and be sad that he passed away and he didn't tell him he loved him.
Right. Yes.
And I specifically used that as an example with my own father to say, I don't want that to be how it goes with you and I. Mm-hmm. I want it to be different. I want us to break that chain, and I want to be able to say this to you no matter how off the cuff it seems like, or how sentimental it seems.
Right.
I want the freedom to express that I love you.
Yeah.
Because you're my dad.
Right.
My mom was always very verbal about it. And it always came with a kiss or a hug or a pinch or something like that. So I never really questioned it with her as much as at least those words. I think sometimes some of the things that happened in my life with my mom, I kind of questioned it.
Yeah.
But something to consider in all this, too, that I started thinking a lot about is think of all the different levels and depths of the word, of the actual reality of love.
Yeah.
We have 3 dogs that we love very much.
Yes.
But that's a completely different kind of love than I have for you.
Of course.
And then the love that I have for you is a totally different, complete different type of love than you would have for your siblings.
Yeah.
Or I would have for my parents.
Right.
Or the love that I have for playing music and painting pictures.
Right.
It's all love.
Yeah.
It is.
Right.
But it's different levels. It's different depths.
Yes.
And I think that if we look enough into that, it's almost like a mirror of heaven, the way that I feel that heaven is tiered, in my opinion, as far as how far you get, how close you get to God or the source.
Yeah.
It's similar.
Right.
With love, that you have to get in there to really get deep to experience what real love is.
Yeah.
I'm not talking, again, just romantic.
Yeah.
Because there's relationships, there's friendships, there's interests, there's, all these different things that can include and involve love.
Absolutely. I wonder if sometimes there's a situation here like, how people aren't happy for you if you succeed? Like they don't believe that there's enough success out there, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe that's the way it is with love too, is that people feel like there's not enough love in one person. And if they love one person, they can't possibly love somebody else. But that's not the way it is. I think that's maybe closer to how I was raised in that way, because like thankfully I had grandparents that were very affectionate with me, and I do remember my grandmother telling me that she loved me all the time. My mother was very different, and my mother and I did not have a good relationship until I was about 13, and even then it was weird. But before that, I don't remember her telling me that she loved me. And I remember the first time that she told me she loved me, like when I was a teenager. It came in the form of a bracelet with I love you on it. And I wrote about this in my blog. But it was very shocking to me that she said that to me. Very shocking. And as I got older, she would like buy me things. I have things around the house. I have this music box that my mom had inscribed on it. It says, "Be happy, Sammy, mom loves you so very much." And like things like that she would give me that I would be like, whoa, okay, where'd this come from? Because this is a woman that didn't tell me she loved me for the first 12 years of my life, So so I learned watching her that you express love to men, that you tell your husband, your boyfriend, whatever, I love you, but saying it to your children might be a little hard for you for whatever reason. And it became very easy for me to tell boys that I love them when I had, it's infatuation. You don't even know what love is. It was just easier than saying it to somebody, a relative.
But again, your mom was giving you one facet, one part of it. The child needing the love and the expression, the out loud expression is actually much more important. But they're all important.
Yeah.
I really believe that. Something that I kind of struggle with, and I vocalize this to you a lot, is that me as a parent, I can't fathom that.
Yeah.
Okay. That I did grow up with a mom that expressed it a lot and showed it in affection.
Right.
So when I see a parent, especially on social media, that shares something about their child, a picture of them, and says, "Ooh, how amazing," but I can't understand why it can't follow up with "I love you," or even a heart or anything. It's just "You're amazing." Okay, maybe I'm judging.
Yeah.
Okay, that this is something that this person keeps private, right, with their family.
Like they just don't see it.
They don't express
like
it outwardly, like publicly. Okay, I get that. But I'm also looking at it from the kid's point of view.
Yeah.
Like, how great would that feel to a kid?
Yeah.
Even if they don't appreciate it right at the moment, but as they get older and they see, wow, look at all the posts that my parents or my mom or my dad posted about me, saying how much they were proud of me and how much they loved me.
Yep.
What that would mean to that child, whether they express that to you or not. Because most kids don't go to their parent and say, I need you to tell me that you love me regularly because it will help reassure me and give me the self-esteem and the confidence I need to get through this world.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Kids shouldn't have to... I'm going to stop myself from cursing. Kids should not have to frickin' do that.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't.
You shouldn't have to ask for it.
No, not at all.
So when it came to my daughter, I said, nope. She's going to see her dad cry. She's going to see her dad be sincere. She's going to see me angry too and be a parent sometimes. But for the most part, what I wanted to show her was unconditional love.
Right, absolutely.
It didn't matter whether she liked somebody that was black, gay, straight, Asian, Hispanic. I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay? I love her and I want her to be happy.
Yes.
So... again, this goes even to sometimes I see this with couples that will share on Facebook or other pages anniversaries. And they're wishing each other anniversary and I hear, no, I love you.
Right.
What's the purpose of sharing this on social media? I don't know.
Right.
But again, I could be judging. I'm just saying that it's falling short because it's missing those words. And I honestly think part of the big reason we all choose to come to Earth is because wrapped up in this ball and all this lessons of school is love.
Yeah.
And we have to learn because we come here and we're totally disconnected from remembering anything. Anything I've ever read or heard about in near-death experiences is almost every single one of them are saying, I immediately felt enveloped or wrapped around and with love.
Yep.
There was nobody standing there. There was somebody talking to me in my consciousness.
Yeah.
And I felt fully protected and wrapped around in love.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what that would be like to be on this planet? Get up every day and walk outside and feel that from everybody that you came into contact with? That would be incredible.
It would be.
And the part of what we're supposed to be doing, I feel like, is jarring our memory. Awakening ourselves to love. And you hear all these songs that come from out of nowhere. You know, sometimes when artists talk about the song, just practically wrote itself. Yeah. And it's talking about love and understanding. And so Jennifer Ott made a comment, and I really liked what she said on the there was a lot of great comments, but she said something that stuck out to me. I remember seeing Ringo Starr for years always going, peace and love, mate, peace and love. And I used to think he's ridiculous. Okay, I love the Beatles, but come on, Ringo. Bro, this is 2024. You know, it's like 7 years ago we were doing that whole thing. Yeah. You know? But I realized, and I saw an interview with him one day where he said, you know, there was a short period, and I've seen a lot of people talk about this. Graham Nash, Joni Mitchell, Ringo Starr. They were like, there was a period in 1969 where we really thought we were going to change the consciousness of the world by expressing love. Yeah, we could. Expressing peace and love. We really thought we were going to change the world. And it didn't happen that way. Yeah. But what he said was, but I'm not giving up. Yeah. And then that changed me forever, the way I looked at him. Yeah. Because I admired him. It wasn't a gimmick. Yeah. It was a man that wasn't letting go of his dream. Yep. And it does come off cheeky. It can be, you know, like Hollywood. Love you, babe. Call me. Sure, you know, we'll do lunch. Yeah, for real. That's cheeky. Yeah. I want to say it from the heart.
Yeah.
I want somebody to understand what they mean to me. Whether it's the dog when you come in from the, being gone for an hour, oh, I love you, good to see you, to, hey, my parents came, got to see him, I love you, good to see you, until next time.
Right.
I have friends, men that I'm very close to, that I respect, that I will say, I love you.
Right.
I want you to know that. I don't want to be ashamed to think it, because is it insinuating that I'm gay if I tell you that I love you? Well, first of all, no, I'm not gay, but if I was, what the hell's wrong with that?
Right.
But that's not what I'm expressing here.
Yeah.
It's my appreciation for your soul. It's the same idea as namaste, of
Yes.
recognizing each other.
Yeah.
But it's uncomfortable for a lot of people, and for a lot of understandably reasons why.
Absolutely. I think it does have a lot to do with our childhood. And, when I look back at my childhood, I can't say to you with 100% certainty that my mother never said that she loved me, but I don't remember her ever telling me that she loved me.
A child should remember that, which means it wasn't happening enough.
Right.
Probably.
It might have happened occasionally. I don't know, but I can tell you that I don't remember it, and that it was awkward for me when she started saying it, and it was awkward for me even closer up to when she died. Thankfully, by the time that she died, our relationship was pretty solid, and it was not something we had a problem expressing, and it was the last thing that I ever said to her. Yeah. So that makes me happy, because, that's the way it should have been. But it definitely makes me go, well, what would I be like if my mother would have said I love you? Now, I didn't really have a father. I had
Right.
John, who I can tell you never once told me he loved me.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But my biological father, who I only met almost 2 years ago, and we've never actually met in person, will tell me that he loves me, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
Because why do you love me? Why? Right. You abandoned me when you found out about me. You were like, I'm okay. I don't really need a child. And never really came to look for me. I had to find you. What do you love? Why are you telling me you love me? Right. It discounts that phrase for me.
Yeah, and that could come off cheeky too. I guess on one way I could understand where he, out of guilt, he's realizing, not out of guilt, but he's got guilt for what, not being involved in your life, but he's also now realizing how much he's missed out on.
Right.
And that can spark a love, a connection. He has a genetic connection to you.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, a lot of it you don't really know. I don't really throw that kind of term with people that are kind of strangers. Yeah. You gotta mean something to me. I have to know you.
Right.
On some level.
Yes.
But I don't think that it should be reserved for marriages and relationships that are romantic only. I think that is a misconception. I think that parents should be sharing this with their children, and children should be sharing it with their parents. I think that children should be sharing it with their siblings. Yeah. I think that friends should be sharing it with friends.
Yes.
I think that the more we tip the scale, with this energy of love, there is this potential to kind of what all these 1969ers were hoping.
Yeah.
Is it possible? It is absolutely possible.
Yeah.
It is the desire to want to do it is something different.
Absolutely.
And that's where I feel like if there was ever, to kind of get religious for you for a second, if there was ever a second coming of the Lord, of Christ, it's in this manner. I don't believe it is in a physical manner.
Right.
I believe it's everybody finally going, I think being mean and rude is not cool anymore.
Yeah.
I think what's cool is being nice and showing love to your neighbor.
Yes.
Then the world starts to change.
Yes.
It starts to, that other dimension starts to merge, and now we're living in kind of in a different place.
Yes.
I've come across a lot of people in my life that have not, like you, that have not experienced enough of it, like it with their parent. Mm-hmm. And those are the ones that are usually the most uncomfortable when you express it to them. They don't know how to take it.
Yeah.
And I've taken the time to explain to some of those people why I share that with them.
Right.
And to not make them uncomfortable, but to let them know how much I appreciate
Yeah.
Because it goes way beyond like, hey, man, I really like you. I think you're really cool. I really like you. It's more than that. And I shouldn't be ashamed or afraid to share that. To say, you have left an impression on my heart.
Yeah.
And my soul that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And for that, I love you. And I thank you for that. You
Yeah.
know? That's what it's about. But it's so deep. I don't expect to, for myself to love somebody as much as I love my wife.
Right.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
But I should allow myself to love as much things as I can.
Absolutely.
So a big part of this, the people that you express it to that didn't grow up hearing it, I think a big reason why they're not expressing it, A, is they haven't learned, and B, is there's this fear of, what if I don't get it back?
Yes, it's the rejection. Yes,
What
absolutely.
if they don't say it back? Well, you've just shared that.
Yes.
Right? Is that going to chop you down every time to make it go, that's it, man. I give up. I'm not saying I love you anymore to anybody because everybody's so damn selfish and unloving. I don't want to do it anymore.
It makes you second guess yourself for
Right,
sure. Yeah.
But I don't stop. You still spread it. You spread the love, man.
Absolutely.
Whether you got it back or not, you spread it.
Today we went to visit a friend of mine that I haven't seen in forever, 20 plus years. It's been a very long time. And, you don't really know what to expect. And we drove to her house. She was having a garage sale. And we get out of the car and I start walking towards the house. And she got so excited and started running towards me and grabbed me and hugged me and told me she loved me and kept telling me, I love you.
That was a sweet moment.
It was really, I'm going to cry. It was really sweet. Yeah.
That's when you feel like, God dang, man, people actually care.
Yeah.
People actually love me. You know what? I wish I felt that from everybody I knew.
But why can't two people that I've grown up with, that have known me since I can remember, why can't they tell me that they love me?
Well, yeah. I mean, I wish I could answer that question for you.
I'm just, hypothetically speaking.
I could guess and say there's now a life that's been lived and things have happened and changed and they maybe don't agree with your life. Or maybe some of the things that you're having the courage, God bless you, to get up in front of this microphone and talk about.
Yeah.
And say, when a lot of us want to just sweep it under the rug, including our desire to express love. Yeah. We're so afraid to do it and of rejection or that it might be mistaken for something else that we sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also see this because a lot of people probably go, well, those two always love everybody's comment. Well, if somebody's interacting with my post and taking the time to talk with me and like my stuff or love my stuff, then I'm going to love your response, man.
Yeah.
Because thank you.
Yeah.
I love you for doing that.
Sure.
I see people that are very passive about it. Maybe their husbands get jealous, so they can only love the woman's comments, but like the men's comments.
And you're reading into that, too. You might not know that that's what's going on.
That may not. I could be reading into it.
There could be a lot of different things going on there.
I see a lot of different ways it works.
Right.
And I wondered into my own head, we have these options to select these emojis.
Right.
How come people don't share this more?
Right.
What's holding us back?
Yeah. And I'll say this right now because what you said is something that really irks me. If you have a husband that's like that, come on now.
I shouldn't assume. I'm just saying that could be a scenario.
There are probably people out there,
right.
And it's if that's the kind of marriage that you're in, no offense, but come on, we have to equal things out here. Come on.
It could go the same way with a man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a woman, you don't get upset when I love women's comments.
No, I don't think about it at all. I don't care.
But I'm not meaning anything by that.
Totally.
And you don't get threatened by it.
No, and you talk to a lot of women and people, and it doesn't for 1 second bother me, but I guess you have to be secure in your relationship to feel that way. And if you're not secure, or people that are doing something wrong, like the husband that tells his wife, I don't want to see you interacting with men, well, probably because he's interacting with women and he feels guilty for what he's doing. That's typically the way it works. So it's for me, I don't let any of those things bother me. Honestly, I don't take social media that seriously anyways, because to me, it's just people being fake. But
you can see a lot of...
You can see patterns.
You can see patterns.
Yeah.
You can see passiveness. You can see aggressiveness. You can see passive aggressiveness.
Oh, yeah, you can.
But that's okay if that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. So we have a few minutes left. Let's hear what some of our listeners had to say, because I did ask them some questions.
Yeah.
I asked, if you have a hard time saying I love you, who do you feel is the hardest to say it to? And do you know what most people said? Their parents.
Really?
Yep. Yep, they sure did. Actually, there was some
weird.
comments here. Let me read them. Desiree said, my parents, they were toxic when I was growing up. They were mentally abusive, and it was hard to know what was what.
Yeah.
Patricia said, my parents have both passed. I never heard them say I love you to each other or to us kids. I am estranged from my 3 kids, but I remember the last time we were together or I sent a message. I said it. My friends are more acquaintances, and I wouldn't say it to them. This may sound sad, but I am okay with it that way. Right. I never experienced love as a kid, so I don't miss what I don't know.
Yeah.
That's very sad. I'm very sorry, Patricia.
Yeah.
Yep. Melissa said, we never said it in my family growing up. The last time I saw my dad, I turned around and I said, I love you, but he was already back to watching something on TV. Yeah. I thought I will tell him later, but I never got the chance. 22 years later, I would give anything to tell him. Don't ever miss an opportunity. We always say it in my family now.
Those are great words of wisdom, Melissa.
Yep. Teresa said, I don't have a problem saying it. I have a problem feeling love. I grew up saying I love you, though the words never had any meaning for me.
That's totally something else, too, that we didn't really maybe get that much into. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. A couple of the other ones that people said a lot were people that I have an uncomfortable history with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I can relate to.
I can
too.
too.
You've loved them before, but maybe you guys have betrayed each other
right.
or something, and how do you get that back?
Yeah. This is probably the top one for me, and that's people that I don't think love me.
Yeah.
And I will be very careful now with the words that I use with those 2 family friends, and that makes me sad because now I feel like they don't love me because if they did, why could they not express it? So maybe I'm just being stubborn, but they won't hear from me again, and that makes me so sad because the daughter that passed away, like we talked on the phone not long ago, and she kept telling me, I love you, I miss you, I love you, I miss you. And it's like, your mother's sitting there and she probably can't even say those words to you either, and that's sad. It makes me so sad.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for people that have shared these vulnerable, comments, because I'm sure it's not easy.
Yeah.
And as hard as it may be when we weren't taught, we have to figure out how to teach ourselves to do this. So we don't short our children or the people in our life that are deserving of the love, just like you were, you know. But you just didn't get it because, again, your parents, don't you see this as a cycle? It's not just a karmic cycle, it's a life cycle.
It is.
It's both.
Yep.
And we're here to try to show each other we can undo this.
Yep.
This karmic wheel can be undone the minute we all start sharing love with each other and stop fighting each other.
Yep.
The karmic wheel will end.
Yep.
We just have to deal with the life.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not saying like you did something wrong to be treated that way.
Right.
But do something with that. Learn from it.
For sure.
Do something better. Mm-hmm. Break that cycle. Change it. Exactly.
Yep.
Break that cycle.
There's a couple more comments here I want to read real quick because you had mentioned Jennifer Ott's comment. Yeah. She said, I have a hard time saying I love you back when just acquaintances say it. I feel like you don't know me enough to say I love you. I have gathered that some people say I love you because they genuinely are spreading love, but the actual 3 words I take seriously. I also have a bad taste left over from my hippie days, and some hippies say I love you, but it's all show.
Yeah.
Well, we are hippies, but we really try and put that out there that we do love. Love is important. Right. And it's not the same kind of love.
It's not. And trust me, I still get upset. I still get angry with people.
Sure.
Even strangers, I don't always express love.
Sure.
I'm human. I'm infallible. I make mistakes.
Yeah, we all do.
And that's why I'm here.
Yep.
But I'm also here to remember that it's about love. Yeah. And there's a song that on Elton John's first record that I can't remember the title of, but he talks about that love is the only reason we're here. What else more could we ask for?
Yeah.
And I first thought that the song was really silly And like, what are you talking about, Elton? You know. And then the more, because I would paint and just put headphones on, and I came out totally like affected by the song. I remember telling you got to listen to this song.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
as if he just literally tapped into heaven and was just reiterating what they told him to say.
Probably had.
So bizarre, like, but coolly bizarre.
Yeah.
You know, so.
The last comment that we have from Paul is from Paul, and he said, "It's interesting in the poll that I find it the most hardest to say I love you to my parents when they were living.
Yeah.
Yet I can say I love you to other people with almost ease, but I really loved my parents more than others." And so then I asked him any idea why it was so hard and have both passed. And he said they have both passed, particularly with my mom. She was emotionally distant, although I knew I was loved, but never had the cuddly I love you relationship. I know her upbringing was harsh from her mother and certainly issues she carried through her life. She never had therapy, sadly.
Yeah.
That's my mom, too.
Yeah.
I think my grandma was probably affectionate with her, but I've heard so many stories about my grandfather and like what he was like. My Grandpa Jack, not Bob. Bob's a good guy.
Yeah.
But that definitely I could see that happening to her as well. And she just didn't get that. And so that's the way she was. And as she got older, that changed a little bit. She was more affectionate. But it's just weird then. Then you're like, why weren't you affectionate with me when I was little? Like, what was wrong with me when I was little? Oh, right. I was annoying.
That's the one thing that I notice with a lot of men in particular is that men tend to be a little bit more, rough around the edges and tougher in their youth.
Yeah.
And then get softer
Yep.
in their age.
Yeah.
And the thing is though in the youth, when they have their children and their kids, is when they really need to focus their softness.
Yes.
Because that comes naturally with age.
Yes.
But you can do a lot of damage first before that happens.
Yes.
To your kids, I mean. By not expressing those words. By not giving them the hug and the reassurance.
Yep.
Luckily, I had a father that was willing to listen to me.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Dad, thank you. I love you. He listened to me.
Yeah.
And even though we fought and butted heads a lot, he gave me what I asked for.
Right.
And it's like now it's every day, it's regular.
Yeah.
Every time we see each other and we have a conversation, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a sentiment at the end of the conversation. We don't dwell on it a lot, but it's a simple "I love you."
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
Right. Exactly.
And that's I talked that whole conversation honestly to hear those 3 words at the end.
Yeah. You bet.
So,
yeah. And I think that for any parents listening right now, that this is a good little bit of a lesson here, that if you're not affectionate with your kids and you don't say I love you to them, all you're doing is making it harder for them to say it in the future. So start saying it to them as often as you can, because it will start to feel more normal. Like my mom said it so little to me and my brother that we didn't really start saying I love you until a few years back.
yeah.
And it's normal.
I remember
starts
kind of
becoming
saying
normal.
to you and your brother, why don't you say I love you to each other?
Right.
And
Because
you guys-
nobody ever said it to us.
Well, you do now.
Yeah.
And it's such a wonderful thing to see and be around,
Yeah.
to witness that. And I say those that are listening, if you're a parent, great. If you're a friend, great.
Yeah.
If you're a sibling, great. You can express it to anybody.
Yes.
And try that. See what happens. Like just out of nowhere.
Yep.
Go up and just tell someone, you know what? Just want to tell you I really appreciate you and I love you.
Yep.
Thank you for being in my life.
Yep.
See what kind of reaction you get.
Yep.
That Pay It Forward movie? If everybody did that, just with, you don't have to give anybody anything. It doesn't require a $5 bill or a card or a gift certificate. It's 3 words that can change the friggin' world.
You know what we saw that was really cool? I don't even know if you realize how cool I thought this was. But we went to this event called First Friday, and it's like an artist thing downtown Las Vegas. And we saw this guy and this woman in the middle of the street hugging, like embracing really tightly. And you were like, what's going on? Are they making out in the middle of the street? And all of a sudden, she pulled away from him, and he had a shirt on that said "Free Hugs."
Yeah.
And he was just hugging people. I'm like, this is what, not that I want to hug, but this is what we need more. Like, for me, I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, some people would walk by
some
him
people
and think
loved
that's
it.
stupid. That's insane.
Yeah. I think it's great.
Why?
Yeah.
I kind of almost wish I would have walked up to him and got a hug from him.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
It's awkward. It's weird. Like, I wish I would have too, but it's so weird. It's like, it's
that's
cool,
what we have
weird.
to stop. You know what I mean? It's the opposite of defensiveness and, you know, and anger. It's let's accept our neighbor.
Totally. It was very cool. Very
so,
cool.
Yeah, I was impressed by that.
And he was African American too.
I felt stupid. Yeah, he was.
So that was
I felt stupid after saying, "What are those two up to?"
Yeah, what are they doing?
Because they would look like I wasn't sure is it about ready to make out. What's going on? And then, like you said, when they parted, then I saw the shirt and I was like, "Oh, I feel kind of sheepish now." Yeah,
that was a deep hug that they were having. But I liked the fact that he was African American because I think that shows, you know, you get we're all one.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what color you are, what ethnicity, what race, or anything, what religion, anything that you are. It's just love. And
I will say my first impression, going back to the very beginning of this episode, and the person that asked me, "What do I think of it here?" My first impression was people are generally more friendly.
They are way more friendly here than they were in Southern California. People say hello to you. Like today we went out for breakfast and this lady brought me my muffin and she was like, "Enjoy your muffin, sweetie." And it was genuine. It wasn't some crap thing. Like I could tell. She patted me on the shoulder. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" People just randomly say hello to us out of nowhere. It's really cool. It makes you feel good. Like, try it.
And I try to reciprocate that.
Me too.
Remember that somebody went out of their way.
Yeah.
So when is it your turn?
Right.
To pay it forward.
Totally.
And keep this thing going.
Totally.
You know, that's all it is. It's just a wave of vibration, a wave of energy. It happens to come along with some words that make some people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the overall feeling, guess what?
Yeah.
That's where we come from. And that's where we end up back.
Yeah.
When we take our last breath here, we go back to love.
We do. Yes, we do.
And that's where we came from.
Yeah.
So all we're trying to do is wake ourselves up in this dream on this side and go, remember?
Yeah.
Remember where you came from.
Yeah.
You can make where you're at the same way.
Yep.
I myself forget that.
Yeah. I think we all do.
You know, I forget it sometimes. And then I remember, oh yeah, I'm a spirit.
Yep.
And my whole essence is love.
Yep. You're a spirit living a human experience, not a human living a spiritual
I throw
experience.
up walls out of defense sometimes, yeah. I think we all do that, in life. But I want to exude the good, the love.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm really happy that we talked about this.
Me too.
And used it as a topic. And I hope that anybody listening did get something out of it.
Me
because,
too.
It's important. It's probably the 3 most important words you'll ever hear in your life.
I agree.
And I'll tell you what, they say that one of the first words that kids hear in their life is no.
Yeah.
But there are 3 words they hear first, and that is I love you before they hear no. I guarantee you, most parents hold their babies and say I love you before they ever tell them no.
Hopefully.
At least that's how it should be.
It's how it should be, but I just can't picture Linda holding me going, I love you so much.
Oh, I'm sure she did until you got to a point where you became a responsibility, and then it was like, I don't really like this situation a whole lot.
Responsibility. I was the responsibility the second they came out. Oh, yeah.
So,
man, if things could be done over, you know.
Oh, yeah, but no, we're going to learn, and we all have our story and our path, you know. But learn from it and try to make it different in your life.
Yeah.
So, and you will affect someone else's life.
Yeah.
In a good way. So.
For sure.
Well, before we say goodbye to everybody, do you want to share your information one more time?
Yes, absolutely. You can find me at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com, and on Etsy, like I had mentioned, my store is Beyond the Bridge 11.
Yeah.
And then you, sir.
Yeah, one more time for my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And for my photography, djones71 photography for Instagram.
Yay.
And that's it for me.
Fabulous.
Well, again, we hope you guys got something out of it.
Yes,
and we want to say from the bottom of our hearts, we love you.
Yes, we do.
For listening to us.
Yes.
And participating with us, for your comments, your involvement, whatever.
For being here after we've been gone for so long, for coming back and being so excited because so many people are excited. We love you for that.
And if that makes you uncomfortable too.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, we're not sorry.
But we hope you guys have a great week.
That we do.
Until next week.
Peace and love.